Hi, and welcome back to the next edition of Under the Radar Review, where I pick an album that I think deserves a lot more love, or it's an underrated gem in somebody's catalog. So this time out, I decided to pick Paul McCartney, one of my favorite artists of all time, with Memory Almost Full. This album was released in 2007. Always been a fan of this album. There's so much going for it. As most people know, he was doing two albums. He started this one, left it, started to create Chaos and Creation in the Backyard, which is more of a stripped down affair, reminiscent of his very early works, his solo works. This is more of Paul McCartney. Like a lot of people were saying, the album New is where he embraced technology and came into the here and now, but yet still retaining that McCartney sound. I'm gonna disagree. This is the album where he starts really. This is a full-fledged pop album. There is, of course, the McCartney acoustic numbers on it, but for the most part, this is a pop record. I love this record. I've always been a fan of this. I couldn't believe I found this at Starbucks. It was released on Starbucks Records. Dance Tonight is an outstanding acoustic number. Ever Present Past is the pop gem on this album. This is one of the best singles I've ever heard from Paul McCartney. To this day, I still think this is criminally didn't chart well, and it deserved to. See Your Sunshine is, I think, like a long lost Wings track. I could swear at moments I hear Linda's voice in there, but you know. Only Mama Knows is a great rocker. You Tell Me is a beautiful ballad. Mr. Bellamy, Gratitude is where I kind of drift off. Vintage Clothes is not bad. That Was Me, where it starts going. That Was Me, Feet in the Clouds, House of Wax. The end of the end is apparently, his thoughts on the final journey. Because he was 64 when he recorded this album, or when this album was released. Kind of the same mythology as the Sgt.Pepper, When I'm 64. Interesting correlation to that, you know. And then Nod Your Head, which is a great little mini rocker at the end. But there's so much going. What I liked about this album, there is that underlying theme of the end for him. He's been dabbling that since Linda's death. So Flaming Pie had him looking back a little bit, both in his sound, trying to get the Beatles sound, but yet him looking at life, and he is getting up there in age. But unlike, let's say, Johnny Cash or Bob Dylan that make death the forefront on their albums, this is an underlying theme, but it's never forced. It's never really put to the forefront. It's there as part of the journey. And he, like, That Was Me, starts talking about all the stuff he's done. He's got his feet in the clouds. There's always that optimism of life from Paul McCartney on this, but and a lot of people say, oh, he's too happy. He's the happy Beatle. Yeah, he may be optimistic, but it's never sound forced on this album. It never sounds overindulgent. It's just enough to get you toe tapping and snapping your fingers on here. But like I said, it's a great album. There's a lot to go for it. I mean, like I said, there's that underlying theme of the end. Like, the song is called The End of the End. But like he says there, he wants people to say nice stories about him and not mourn him. Like I said, there's that optimism that balances out the dread of death. So, highly recommended album from him. I'll open it up and show you a bit of it. I don't like the cover. I don't think anybody likes this cover. I don't know what he was thinking when he did this. That's it. This would have been better, maybe. There's this, or I would have put this on the cover. Something like that. I think it's a nice little. This is the one from Starbucks. I think it's a gem of an album, and I think it deserves to be in your McCartney collection for sure. Like I said, everybody said New was the album that he embraces technology, and his full pop sensibilities have returned. I think this is the one that really starts it. He kind of really sees him. He embraces the new sounds, and brings it in and makes it his own, and incorporates it into the McCartney sound. And I love this album, and I always will love this album. I think this was a surprise. I didn't think he's going to come back with something as enjoyable as Flaming Pie as a latter day release, but I think this is an underappreciated gem. It deserves to be in your collection. I urge you to search it out and look at it or stream it. You will not be disappointed. There's so much going for it. There's so many layers to this album. Like I said, the underlying theme of the end, but yet there's that ever present optimism and embracing of life that always counteracts that. So like I said, a lot of his contemporaries, when they hit these albums where they talk about death all the time, I understand why they're doing, but sometimes you just don't want to hear the 12 tracks of death. This is a great alternative, and I think it's a solid album. No, I'm not going to say it's a masterpiece, but it's pretty darn close to I'm going to say a 4 out of 5 star album on this. So I think if you like McCartney, if you like great pop and great acoustic numbers, you can't go wrong. And if you like a little tinge of that Wings sound, it's in here too. See Your Sunshine. A lot of people don't like that song, but I think it's a Wings. It has that Wings sound to me. And Only Mama Knows is one of the best rock songs he's ever done. House of Wax is a great piano ballad, very haunting. I think it's about the downfall of celebrity, the bad part of it. But like I said, there's so much from this album, and every time I hear it, I hear something new, and something comes to me. And I think you owe it to yourself to listen to this once in your life. So this is Steven from the Aroundtable with my under the radar pick, Memory Almost Full, the 2007 release from the one and only Sir Paul McCartney. I'll be seeing you soon, guys.